Hey, it's math time. You ready to add and subtract? There are a whole lot of numbers. We're getting smarter with every math fact. Hello and welcome back to Math with Mrs. McMillan. It's so nice to see you today. So, today we're going to be talking about something that really freaks some people out. When I used to teach 5th grade and I would try to teach this subject in math, the kids would panic and for no reason. This really isn't very scary. So are you ready to hear what we're going to be learning about today in math? It's fractions. Fractions can really scare some people, but I never could understand why. They're very simple. Fractions in math are what we use when we want to talk about a piece or a part of something. Here, look at this. Like I said earlier, in math we use fractions when we want to talk about a piece or a part of a whole thing. Now, if you take a look at this group of apples right here, the whole thing is this group of apples. And there are 4 apples in the group. Now, I can use a fraction to talk about how many of the apples are green. 1 out of 4 apples are green. We call this in math 1/4. 1/4 of the apples are green. I could also use fractions in order to discuss how many of the apples are not green. I could say that 3 out of 4 are red, or 3/4 of the apples are red. There, that's fractions. Pretty easy, right? I could also use fractions when I am discussing this group of stuffed animals. So in fractions, you have 2 different numbers. You have the top number, which is the numerator, and the bottom number, which is the denominator. Now, the denominator, or the number on the bottom of your fraction, it talks about how many things or pieces there are in the whole group. Now here we have 5 stuffed animals. So my whole group contains 5 stuffed animals. Therefore my denominator is the number 5. If I was going to be talking about how many of these stuffed animals were elephants, then I would say 2 out of 5 were elephants. My number that I'm talking about that are elephants, that's going to go on the top part of the fraction, which is called the numerator. So in this group of stuffed animals, 2 out of 5, or 2/5, are elephants. Now, what if I wanted to discuss how many were not elephants? Let's see here. What would you do? Yeah, you would count the ones that were not elephants. 1, 2, 3, and then you would say 3/5, or 3 out of 5, are not elephants. That's fractions for you. Now, let's say that this circle is really a pizza, and I want to cut it up to feed it to myself and a friend. I might go ahead and cut the pizza right down the middle like this. Okay, right now I have made a fraction. I have cut this shape into 2 different pieces. Now, we've talked a minute ago about a numerator and a denominator, and here we go. The numerator, the number on top, that talks about how many pieces are gone or how many pieces are left. The denominator, the number on the bottom, that's going to talk about how many pieces there are all together. Let's take a look at our pizza so that we can figure out the denominator. How many pieces are there all together in our pizza? 2. So that number goes on the bottom. Now let's pretend that I was extremely hungry, and before my friend even came over to share pizza with me, I ate this much of the pizza. Now, if the question was how much of the pizza did Mrs. McMillan just hork down, it would be 1 out of 2 pieces, because I ate 1 piece out of 2. Now in fractions, this right here is called half. You could say that I ate half of the pizza, or 1 piece out of 2 pieces. I ate half of the pizza. All right, here we go with our pizza again. Let's pretend that this time I cut the pizza into more pieces. Instead of just cutting it in half, what if I cut our pizza up like this? Now, in order to figure out what the denominator is going to be, do you remember what we have to do? That's right, we have to count how many pieces we have all together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces all together. Therefore, our denominator in this fraction is going to be 4. Now, let's pretend that I gave 1 piece to my friend Bethany. So here we go. This piece is now gone. Bethany is eating her pizza. Let's see, we can make a fraction out of this. If the question was how many pieces of the pizza have been eaten, we would say 1 out of 4, or 1/4 of the pizza has been eaten. Now, what if this happens? What if I take the second piece? So Bethany eats 1 and Mrs. McMillan eats number 2. And what if somebody asked me, how much of this pizza has been eaten? What would you answer? Yeah, 2/4, or 2 out of 4 pieces have been eaten. You may know. Here's our pizza again, but what if I cut it really crazy this time? What if I went and did this to our pizza? What if I cut it into 3 pieces? Now we're going to have a crazy fraction, aren't we? So in order to figure out our denominator, what do? That's right, we count all the pieces. 1, 2, 3. Our denominator is going to be a 3. Now, you just have to answer the questions that are asked about this particular shape that is cut into this many pieces. So let's say that somebody ate this much of the pizza. How much of the pizza is gone? Yeah, 1. 1/3 of the pizza. The numerator is 1 because that's how much is gone. The denominator is 3 because that's how many pieces there were all together when we started. 1/3 of the pizza is gone. Now what if somebody eats this much of the pizza? Now how much is gone? Yeah, it's not 1/3 anymore. Now it's 2/3, or 2 out of 3 pieces have been eaten. Good job! Now, what if you had a shape like this? What if you had a rectangle that was divided up into 6 equal sections? And what would you do if someone said, will you please color in 1/6 of that shape? Great thinking. That's right. You're just going to color in 1 out of 6 pieces. So I would just do this. Do. That's 1/6 of my shape colored in. Now, to change it up a bit, what would happen if someone said for you to color in 4/6 of this shape? Well, first we're going to get rid of that 1. We're going to put a 4 here. So they want 4/6 of the shape colored in. What would you do? Right now I have 1/6. Yeah, I'm just going to keep going. 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. Good job! This would be the shape with 4/6 of it colored in. Nice work. Okay, here's another shape. This time our shape has 4 sections in it. That's why the denominator says 4. Now, pretend that the teacher said, will you please color in the 3/4 of this shape? What would you do? Yeah, it's so easy. You're just going to color 3 of these sections in like this. 1, 2, 3. Now 3/4 of this shape is colored in. Alrighty, now fractions can be little and fractions can be big. Right here we have quite a few pieces that this pizza has been cut into. 8 to be exact. Yikes! So each piece of this pizza is 1/8 of the pizza. 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 makes 8/8 6/8 of the pizza. When you have a whole thing and none of it is gone, that means that you have this many out of this many pieces. I have 8 pieces of pizza out of a total of 8 pieces of pizza. Now, let's see what happens when some get eaten. Okay, well, some of our pizza has been eaten by our friends, and so now we need to figure out what fraction of the pizza is left. Now, this is tricky. I didn't say how much has been eaten. I said how much is left. So let's count the remaining pieces and see what number is going to go on top of our fraction in our numerator position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aha! 5/8 of the pizza is left. Very good. All right, here we go. Some more people have come and taken pieces of our pizza. What if I asked you how much of the pizza has been eaten? Keywords there, has been eaten. So now we're talking about how many pieces are gone. So let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces out of 8 altogether have been eaten. So 6/8 of the pizza has been eaten. Hey, bonus question. Do you think you can answer this? How much of the pizza is left? I love how smart you are. It makes me very happy. So, if you were going to give me a new fraction for how much of the pizza is left, you already knew that we had to put an 8 in our denominator position because that's how many pieces you had altogether to start with. And then you knew to put a 2 in the numerator position because that's how many pieces were left. You're so smart. 6/8 of the pizza has been eaten and 2/8 of the pizza is left. Good job! Well, I hope you figured out the fractions are not really that scary. Even though some people get freaked out by them, you don't have to be scared of them. They're just talking about the number of pieces that something's been cut up into. It's not that bad. Now, remember, in a fraction, you have 2 different numbers. You have a numerator, the number on the top, and you have a denominator, the number on the bottom. The denominator always tells you how many pieces you started out with when you began. So, now, I am going to give you some fractions and some shapes, and I'm going to want you to color in a certain fraction of each shape. So if I say to color in 1/4 of a shape, this is what you do. If I told you to color in 2/3 of a shape, this is what it would look like. And if I said for you to color in 5/9 of a shape, easy smeezy, it would look just like this. So, don't be scared of fractions. Get excited. There's something fun and there's something new.